fact, the original Dinobot Combiner was not actually any of the Dinobot members, but rather the Dinoforce from Transformers Victory. Hello there, Transformers fans, and welcome back to another cool toy review. Today's review features the Pulsecon exclusive Transformers Legacy United Dinoforce Dino King Combiner team based off of their appearance in the Transformers Victory cartoon. Another really awesome modern update to some Japanese original characters that we never got in the American market previously. And here they are in the packaging, and I love this packaging, and I love how it kind of homages that classic G180s grid style packaging that we've got there. It looks a lot like that original box set that you could have gotten from Takara over in Japan while Transformers Victory was running. Awesome artwork of Dino King there. On both edges of the box, you've got an image of the figures in their dino modes, their robot modes, and their combined mode. Up at the top, you've got that same thing, except it's spread out horizontally instead of vertically. On the back, you've got them spread out on this side column here, and you've got that really cool Legacy United banner artwork, as well as a tech spec card down below, which I also really like. And that's pretty much it for the packaging. And here is all 6 members of the Dinoforce out of the packaging, and they look really awesome side by side. And I feel like they did a really good job of blending their animation accurate dino modes with their inner dino or monster mode that they had previously from the original mold. I think that translated really well and made for some really good robot mode updates with this legacy mold, which we can see right here. Each one of them got new unique head sculpts based off of animation. His is, I would say, the least accurate. His head sculpt should be more goldish, I think, if I remember right, or more on the face plating. The blue on the helmet's right. The fin, he doesn't have the fin like Swoop does, but he does still transform into a pterodactyl or pteranodon, whatever you want to call it. And in that mode, he does still have the fin, which is why they kept it on this figure right here. And we're going to take an individualized comparison look with these guys as well as their Dinobot counterparts here in a moment. But before we do that, here they are next to the HasLab Saber. So you can see how they stand side by side. And they actually scale really well with Saber. Keep in mind, the Dinoforce is a small group of Transformers. They are not large characters. In fact, the core class Dinobots is a poor comparison by scale next to these guys because they are significantly smaller than the Dinobots we know in Generation 1. Dino King himself actually isn't that large. Now, the scaling seems a little wonky in Victory, like a lot of Generation 1, just due to inconsistency in the way characters are drawn. But in terms of scale, Hasbro actually got really, really close to scaling these guys with the HasLab Victory Saber and Deathsaurus, which is next, by the way. Here they are next to Deathsaurus, which, as you can see, is so much larger. Deathsaurus is huge next to the Dinoforce, and it's just a really cool comparison to see those guys side by side. And of course, we will be comparing them as Dino King. And starting off with the leaders of these respected groups, here is Goryu next to Grimlock. And I really love how well they nailed Goryu. So here he is in his robot mode. He is just as articulated as the core class Grimlock. Head rotates from side to side. Shoulders are on a ball joint. Swivel at the elbow-ish section. No wrists. He comes with his Bam Bam stick, which is very, screen accurate to the animation, which I really like. Swivel, hips, single jointed knees, but they're also on a ball joint, which is really cool. Still comes with the blaster simply because it's part of the tail of the dino mode. So same blaster that came with Grimlock there, even though we don't really typically see Goryu with a blaster in the series. In fact, his mace here can make this energy ring thing that he can then fling at his enemies, which is pretty neat. Next, we've got Kakaryu next to Slag, and Kakaryu's looking pretty good too. He actually comes with some more accessories in addition to what Slag came with. So he's got the blaster rifle that hangs on his back when he's in his dino mode, which you get his animation accurate weapon harness, or pretty close to it, like he has in dino mode in the show. More on that in beast mode, which I think is very cool. There's that blaster that Slag comes with, as you can see right there, but we also have his double barrel blaster like he has in the animation as well, which I really like. New updated head sculpt to match his animation accurate look, which is pretty cool. Now, he doesn't have, of course, the dino mode head like Slag does. That was a redesign that they did when they were making these two teams, but I think it was a necessary one to just bridge the gap to get us this really cool combiner team, even if it isn't animation accurate, and the head should be, I believe, right here. Moving on down here is Ryu, or Raryu, however you pronounce his name. If somebody knows how to pronounce his name, please throw the phonetic up in the comments down below. Next to his counterpart, Sludge, so you can see them side by side. I love that he's got his dino mode rocket launchers that mount onto his back, which also mount onto his arms for robot mode. Now, they did a really cool creative thing with these where they made them also the combined mode feet for Dino King, which a cool reuse of those parts, and a cool way to get this particular detail and accessory onto the figure. His articulation's pretty decent too. Shoulders are on a ball joints, but nothing else on the arm. Head rotates side to side. You can bring his dino mode head up and down, which very animation accurate, might I add, with that color scheme. I really like that a lot. Hips are on a ball joint. You have this outer thigh swivel, your inner knee joint because of the wonky leg proportions. That's simply due to how it was designed, because this team was definitely designed with the combined mode in mind first before anything else. But that's okay, because given the scale of it, we get a really cool combined mode with this combiner team. Swoop was always one of my favorite of the Dinobots, and Yokoryu is also a really sweet figure. Shoulders are on a ball joint, elbows are on a ball joint. He's got his cool little scythe weapon and his little combined mode fist that he can use, I guess, as a blaster or something in his hand if you want him to. Waist swivel, hips are on a ball joint, upper thigh swivel, single jointed knees, head is on a ball joint, and I really love the scythe weapon that he has. It also can articulate up or down. And despite the fin, it would have been cool if they made it to where the fin could articulate down, since he doesn't have it in animation or on the original toy. It's still cool because it works out for his beast mode really, really well. While color accurate to Doryu's original toy, the colors on Doryu don't just, I don't know, they don't do it for me like they do with the Snarl from Core Class. Maybe it's just because there's not enough color to break up the blue and the white, but I don't, there's just something about this one's color scheme. And that's not a comment on this toy release specifically so much as it is a comment about this character in particular. Now, just like with Snarl, he does come with the sword as well. Shoulders are on a ball joint, forward and back, hinge joint on the elbow, nothing at the wrist. Waist, hips are on a ball joint, no thigh, single jointed knees, and that's pretty much it for his articulation, unless you want to count his horns. And I almost forgot his head does swivel from side to side. And last but not least, Garyu. Garyu? However you say his name. These names are not easy to say, at least for me. The counterpart to Scar. And it was at the announcement of this figure right here was it solidified and confirmed, at least in my mind, that we were getting this team at some point in the future, because based off of the configuration of how the Volcanicus was starting to form before Scar got announced, it was already looking very similar to Dino King. So as I was reviewing these figures, I believe that was on the Bay 12 YouTube channel, I had been saying leading up, I bet they're going to do a Dino King. I bet they're going to do a Dino King. And then at SDCC, lo and behold, here we have Garyu with the rest of his squad mates based off of my hunch that I was confident was confirmed by this guy, and certainly was. And he looks really cool too. I love the saw blade like back that his dino mode has that they did with Scar over there. Head sculpt is very accurate on this guy, like the little spikes there on the side. He's got this little axe here, and he's got his tail punchy fist weapon for his Ankylosaurus alt mode. Shoulders are on a ball joint. You've got butterfly joints as well, mostly due to transformation. Nothing else at the wrist or elbow or anything like that. Waist is on a swivel. Hips are on a ball joint. Knees are on a ball joint. You can articulate his dino mode legs on his side if you'd like. Head swivels from side to side. And that's pretty much it for articulation on these guys in their robot modes. Alright, transformation on these guys, starting with Goryu, very similar to the Dinobots. What we're going to do is we're going to remove his accessories first, then we're going to bring this section up, close these wings together, bring that T-Rex head down, come over here to the back, make sure this peg is flipped up, but don't push it in all the way because we need it for something here in a moment. Clip those legs together, bring that up all the way down, click that into place, bring that leg forward, flip those dino mode feet facing forward like so. Then we're going to take his blaster tail that's going to plug in right back there. Then we're going to take his mace here, and with the wider peg hole, we're going to peg it right there onto his back so he's carrying his mace on his back. Now in the animation, Goryu rode his Pretender Shell T-Rex into battle wielding his mace in his arm, and this is pretty close. This is a pretty good hybridization of his original toy and his Pretender Dino mode, which was a green T-Rex with a silver head, although it had some spikes on it, so it would have been cool if they did a little bit more retooling on the Dino mode head to have those spikes, but still a very cool recreation. And for comparison, here he is next to Grimlock in Dino mode, so you can see him side by side with that counterpart. Next is Kakaryu. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take his blaster tail weapon thing off. We're going to peg these legs together like so, flip that dino mode jaw shut, rotate these shoulders all the way forward, and then bring those dino mode legs down, and then fold this section in on itself, pegging it into his back, bring these dino mode legs down. Now ordinarily, if this was slag, we would remove this and close these wings up like so, and then we would plug his tail on like so. And for comparison, real quick, here he is next to Slag, so you can see them side by side in their dino modes. But what you're really supposed to do with him, because remember they were in Pretender shells, is leave his wings open like so. We're going to take this piece from this guy, remove that piece from him, and then we're going to take this blaster rifle and peg it onto the side right here. We're going to take this piece and peg it on top right here, and then we're going to peg this piece on the side. Now, I don't remember really actually having this. We're just putting it on here because there's nowhere really else to put it on any other dino mode. And then we're going to plug that directly into his back right there, like so. So you have his weapons on his back, and there he is in his proper dino mode next to Slag. Next is, of course, Raryu, or Raryu, however you want to say his name. We're going to unpeg these rocket launchers off of his arms, fold in that peg, just set that down. Do the same thing over here, unfold that, set that down. Bring that dino mode head up just a little bit. Bring those arms together, peg them into place, and bring them all the way back like so. Come to the waist, rotate that all the way around, peg those dino mode legs together, and then we're going to put those arms into that tail, flip that up right there. There he is in his long neck mode. Next, we're going to take these. You're going to get this angular peg, and that's going to peg in right here, which is also his combiner mode sections for the legs, which is really cool. And you're going to add his rocket launchers for his beast mode, which are also very animation accurate, or pretty close to it. Again, this is a hybridization of a few designs. And here he is next to Sludge, so you can see them side by side. And time for Doryu. We're going to remove his weapons as well. Take that off. Very similar to Swoop. Unpeg and flare out his wings. Fold that head back. Flip that dino mode head up. Angle that fin where you want it. Peg the legs together down here. Fold the legs back and peg them into his back section. Fix that head again. And then the arms just tab into his sides, like so. And that's really it for his pterodactyl mode or pteranodon mode. You can also add his fist blaster weapon by pulling out this peg here on his torso, which is his combined mode connection point. Add that right there. And there he is. He can carry that big blocky with the tiny blaster end out into battle. And here he is next to Swoop. And here's Doryu. And yep, just like Snarl, take his sword out of his hand, close his tail together, come over here to the arms. We're going to spread them out for now, and we're going to remove this simply because it makes transformation a little bit easier. Go down to the legs, flip out those dino mode heads, start rotating those knees up, and then you can flip out those dino mode heads the rest of the way. Close that down together, and then we're going to come in with this piece right here, just kind of ease it in. Those tabs are going to lock in to the back of those and then tab straight down. There is a tab right here. There's a weird shaped peg hole right here. You're going to bend that elbow, line that up, tab that into place, locking that rear dino leg into place on both sides. And there those are. And then for his sword storage, just plug this in down here, and then he also carries this in his dino mode. We're just going to angle that back like that. And there he is in his Stegosaurus mode. And here he is next to Snarl, so you can see them side by side. And last and certainly not least, of course, here is Garu, or Gairu, however you say his name, in his robot mode. Transformation, we're going to remove his tail fist blaster weapon. We're going to bring his shoulders together and peg them together in the middle. Bring that dino mode head up, peg that into place, rotate that waist around, peg those legs together, and bring that section down. Angle those dino mode legs where you want them, and then take this, plug it in right there. Let's turn that around. And there he is in his dino mode. For comparison, here he is next to Scar, and a cool comparison of their combined mode arm pieces, because the Dino King combined mode is very different. It needed a longer piece due to the articulation, and you'll see why here in a little bit, and it does look very cool. Alright, now that we've got them all here in their Dino modes, it is time to assemble them in Dino King form. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the legs. We're going to grab him, we're going to take that off, we're going to bring these arms forward, rotate those Dino mode feet forward, peg those legs together right there, and then peg this right into the waist right there, like so. And then next we're going to bring up this section, untab these, bring this down. Now, the instructions and the pictures will say have his leg panels up like this, and then, you know, adjust them how you like. What I like to do for this and for Volcanicus is I like to bring this back down, peg it together back over that Dino mode head, and then just use it to cover that section like so. You still have the Dino mode head poking out, but you don't have pieces hanging off to the side. Make sure that's facing up, and then we're going to remove both of these from him. He is the left foot, so that would be this foot joint. You've got this interesting shaped peg hole on the bottom. This is going to line up like so, and there you can articulate that ankle. And there's one leg done. Next, we're going to grab him. Going to untab that. We're going to pull that off. We're going to rotate this peg all the way up. Next, we're going to untab these arms, untab that sword, untab those legs, fold those Dino mode heads back in, tab those legs back together, and then bring this back partially like so. Rotate those shoulders forward, peg them together, and then peg them down into the waist piece like that. Grab this panel. These two pegs are going to line up right there, like so. And then grab your other foot, line it up, plug it in. There's both legs. Next, we're going to start building the torso, so go ahead and grab this guy right here. We're going to untab and rotate these sections all the way around and bring those leg sections out to the side and fold it up at this specific angle. Next, we're going to bring down that Dino mode head, split the arms, rotate them facing up, and then bring them back into position before you bring that Dino mode head down. I almost forgot, we got to rotate that waist around too. So it should look like this when you've got him prepared for his combination mode. Then you connect our legs together, making the knee joints of Dino King. Next is this guy right here. We're going to remove his weapon harness section, and then we're going to bring these arm sections back, peg them into the sides like so, bring these rear legs all the way around, unplug this, unplug this. This is going to peg in onto the chest right here. And then we're ready to add this guy. So go ahead and line these three pegs with these three peg holes. And then we're going to peg these arms into place on the sides, and then we're going to peg these wings into the arms of that guy as well. So now this torso is pretty nice and securely connected. Now for the arms. So go ahead and grab this guy next. He's pretty simple. Unpeg those legs, bring them down, unpeg that. These two pegs are going to line up right here. So grab that, just peg that on. Grab this and rotate that wrist around. I like to have it positioned like so. And then I'm going to rotate this waist to the side. Bend that elbow just a little bit. You leave these arms down to the sides. I like to fold these wings back just a bit. Leave that head up. That's going to connect right here at this shoulder. Next, we'll go ahead and grab this guy. This is going to change just a little bit. Unpeg that. Unpeg this, come around, bring these down just a little bit, lower that, like right there, and then I like to bring these right back up. There we go. Fold those dino mode legs all the way around, and then take his tail, plug that down right here, rotate that fist to where you like it. I like to have it at an angle because of the way the hips and the connection port are positioned. That way the arm is just not hanging out to the side really far. Go ahead and peg that in like so. And then for his head, which goes right there on top. And there is Dino King in his combined mode, and he's a pretty decent looking combiner. Now, we do still have to finish some transformation stuff up a bit. We've got his weapon. So first we've got his halberd. So we're going to start with the mace here. Then we're going to take the scythe. We're going to plug that directly on top. Bring that down. Grab this assembly. Remove this blaster. Remove this blaster. We're going to actually leave this where it is and then peg it facing the opposite direction. And then take this sword here. That's going to be our topper. Plug that directly in right there like so. And you would not believe how screen accurate this weapon is for this guy. It's actually really awesome. And I love how it breaks down into a lot of their recognizable and individual weapons that they have in the show. Then you put it in this hand right here. And then I'm going to put his blaster rifle in this hand over here. And what I like to do with this other piece, rather than peg it onto the bottom of the blaster rifle, I like to peg it on to the bottom of this guy's chin right here, right where that connection port is. Because I think that looks really cool right there. And there is Dino King in his combiner mode with his weapons and accessories. And he looks really sweet with all of his stuff. Alright, and now for comparison, here is Dino King next to the Legacy Core Class Volcanicus, which again, Generation 1 Dinobots, much larger than Generation 1 Dinoforce. This isn't really a good comparison of the two teams, so much as it is a comparison of the use of both molds. Especially since Volcanicus, oh man, buddy, I know size doesn't matter, but that's not a knife. That's a knife. You know, I just, oh man, it's a good thing DNA did an upgrade kit for this guy, because that's it. And of course, here is Dino King next to Saber. So you can see them side by side. And here he is next to the Rescue Force. So you can see them side by side. And they are so small next to him. And they're supposed to be. And last but not least, here he is next to Deathsaurus, his master. And while he did get some more height next to Deathsaurus, Deathsaurus still towers over Dino King. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into today's review featuring the new Pulsecon exclusive Transformers United Dinoforce based off of their appearance in Transformers Victory, and a cool little combiner team, if I do say so myself. What other cool and kind of outside of the box combiner teams that haven't really gotten a modern update are you looking forward to at some point in the near future? Let me know in the comments down below. Stay tuned for more Transformers reviews, as well as other cool toy reviews, news, and more on CoolToyReview.com and Cool Toy Review on social media. Just follow us wherever you like to check out your cool toy content. If you like Star Wars content, check out our sister website, RebelScum.com. Like and subscribe and follow Rebel Scum on social media for toy news, reviews, and more that are Star Wars based. Sign up for a free account on CollectorsOracle.com and follow me at Triptychonus on Instagram and TikTok for even more cool Transformer content. We'll see you guys later. We'll see you another time. And this time, let's say go!